Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mr. Sanders Twin again, and we are back on my favorite spot. So, I just realized something. I think the only one of my kitties that you guys haven't met yet is Pancake, and she is right here. Of course, she doesn't have anything to say either, but thought I'd take the opportunity for you to meet her because she's very rarely out in the open. Anyway, we're going to read the next section of Inside Out and Back Again. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Cowboy's Gifts. Our cowboy likes to bring us gifts. The breathing catfish was Mother's favorite. I couldn't watch Vu Lee kill and clean it, but it tasted so good. After getting us dipped at church, our cowboy brought gifts even more often. Vu Lee always asked for beef jerky, pointing to his muscles. I prefer really fat grapes. Today, our cowboy brings chips and chocolate. My brothers and I finish the chips in a flash. Later, Mother throws away what's left of the candy. After she falls asleep, I retrieve the bars. They'll be better than hard rolls for lunch. October 4th. Someone knows. My word for today is delicious. Delicious. Miss Washington asks, "Was your lunch delicious?" Before speaking, I have to translate in my head. She waits. I eat candy and toilet. Miss Washington looks panicked. What? I realize my mistake. Oh, the toilet. She doesn't look any happier. I add, not candy all the time. But you always eat in the bathroom? I nod. Why? How can I explain? Dragonflies do somersaults in my stomach whenever I think of the noisy room full of mouths chewing and laughing. I'm still translating when her eyes get red. I'll pack you a lunch and you can eat at your desk. No eat in class. I'll fix that. Things will get better. Just you wait. I don't believe her, but it feels good that someone knows. October 13th. All right, let's go ahead and answer the first question. Why does Hot eat alone in the bathroom? You'll find clues for this question. It's more of an inferential question. It's not stated directly, but you'll find clues to that in this stanza. How can I explain dragonflies do somersaults in my stomach when I think of the noisy room full of mouths chewing and laughing? If you need a sentence starter, you can use she eats alone in the bathroom because blank. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Most relieved day. At lunch the next day, I stay in class. Miss Scott nods. Can it be this easy? Inside my first brown paper bag, a white meat sandwich, an apple, crunchy curly things sprinkled with salt, and a cookie dotted with chocolate raindrops. Something salty, something sweet. Perfect. I hear pounding footsteps in the long hall. I stop chewing. Two students run into class giggling. I firm my muscles, ready for the giggles to explode into laughter thrown at me. But smiles appear instead. The girl has red hair swaying to her bottom, a skirt falling to her calves. She says, Pam. I hear Pem. The boy of coconut shell skin is dressed better than for church. A purple bow tie, a white shirt that wouldn't wrinkle even if he rolled down a hill. His shaved head is so shiny and perfect, I want to touch it. He speaks slowly and loudly, but I don't mind because he's still smiling. He says, Stephen. I hear Stevon. I have not seen them in class, but then I mostly stare at my shoes. I will write in my journal October 14th is most relieved day. As I have noted, April 30th was Saigon is gone day, and September 2nd was longest day ever. Though I was saving most relieved day for father's return. He can have the title, My Life's Best Day, October 14th. All right, let's answer the next question. Why does Ha designate October 14th as Most Relieved Day? This is another inferential question, but keep in mind what's happening in this poem. She gets to eat in the classroom, so she's not in the noisy, crowded, lonely lunchroom, and she meets two other students. If you'd like a sentence starter, you can use she designates October 14th as most relieved day because blank. All right, let's continue. Smart again. Pink Boy stands at the board. He can't multiply 18 by 42. I go to the board, chalk the answer in 5 moves. My cheekbones lift to the ceiling until I see horror on the faces of Pem and Stevan. Pink Boy is glowing red against white hair, white eyebrows, and white eyelashes. Miss Scott nudges me toward my seat. Pem reaches for my hand, hers trembling. I know Pink Boy will get me, but right now, I feel smart. October 20th. Hair. One day, the honey hair girl takes her pink ribbons and knots pigtails in my hair. She stares, shakes her head, yanks back her ribbons. Pink don't look good on you. Then 3 girls of bronze bred skin remove colorful barrettes from their hair and twist them into my head so many braids. The girl's hair holds the shape of braids even without barrettes. Pem and Stevan nod, so I keep still. Walking home, my shadow shows eels dancing on my head with tails in shapes of bows, stars, hearts. Mother and brothers notice, pause, then go on with their day. It isn't easy to sleep on a pile of plastic barrettes. The next morning, when the girls slip off the barrettes, my hair falls back to being straight. The girls yank my flat strands, walk away. I've spent my life wishing for long hair, and this is what I get. October 23rd. The busy one. Vu Li no longer has time for just me. At sunrise, he throws newspapers onto porches. After school, he flips perfect circles of beef. At sunset, he teaches Bruce Lee moves in our front yard. We line up in 5 rows, squatting and shifting, the only moves he has taught us. I make sure to get in the front row. First came the eager boys, next came the giggly girls, then came our neighbors who couldn't help their curiosity. They wave back now, at times bringing jiggly, colorful food we don't eat. Everyone in Vu Li's class wears yellow. Some even bought suits exactly like Bruce Lee's. Brother Kwong and Koi joined too. Once I saw Mother behind the curtains, smiling. I squatted low and sturdy then. October 28th. War and Peace. Miss Scott shows the class photographs of a burning naked girl running crying down a dirt road, of people climbing, screaming, desperate to get on the last helicopter out of Saigon, of skeletal refugees crammed aboard a sinking fishing boat reaching up to the heavens for help, of mounds of combat boots abandoned by soldiers of the losing side. She's telling the class where I'm from. She should have shown something about papayas and Tet. No one would believe me, but at times I would choose wartime in Saigon over peacetime in Alabama. October 29th. Okay, let's go ahead and answer the third question. How does Miss Scott characterize Ha's homeland? So you'll find clues to this question in a couple of these stanzas. So she's showing pictures of, the wartime, and for example, she's showing pictures of people climbing, screaming, desperate to get on the last helicopter out of Saigon. So kind of horrifying wartime images like that. And then Ha is saying right here, she should have shown something about papayas and Tet. So what's the difference between what Miss Scott is showing and Ha's version of Vietnam? If you need a sentence starter, you can use she characterizes Ha's homeland. I misspelled characterizes, I'll get that. As blank. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Pancake face. Pam is dressed in a skirt to the floor like the pioneers in our textbook. Stevan wears a beard like President Lincoln. I didn't know today is pretend day. Pink Boy keeps asking, "What are you?" By the end of school, he yells an answer. She should be a pancake. She has a pancake face. It doesn't make sense until it does. I run, hearing laughter, loud, 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 which still echoes when Mother comes home. I can't keep the day inside anymore. Mother asks, "What's a pancake?" Tears gush because I can't make myself explain. A pancake is very, very flat. October 31st, Halloween. Mother's response. Mother strokes my head. Chant, my child. Breathe in, peaceful mind. Breathe out, peaceful smile. She strokes my back. Chant, my daughter. Your whispers will bloom and shelter you from words you need not hear. Chant. Namo Adi Da Fat Namo Kwanda Bontat. Probably didn't say that right. She strokes my arm. I chant, wanting the gentle strokes to continue forever. I chant, wanting Mother's calmness to sink into me. October 31st, night. Miss Washington's response. I'm quiet during my lesson with Mrs. Washington. For a long time, I stare at the floral wallpaper and shelves full of books. Then I notice a framed photograph of a boy in uniform. I had not known of her son Tom, or of his death as a 20-year-old soldier in the very place where I was born. I never thought the name of my country could sound so sad. I'm afraid to look at Miss Washington. You hate me? Child, child. She comes close and hugs me. Right then, I tell her about the pancake. She hugs me tighter, then pulls out a book. A book of photographs. A dragon dance at Tet. Schoolgirls in white owl dice. A temple built on a tree trunk. Tom had sent these home. Tom had sent home these photographs of a hot green country that he loved and hated just the same. I suck in breath. A photograph of a papaya tree swaying broad, fan like leaves. In the full sun, showing off a bundle of fat orange piglets. Excited, I yell, "Doo doo!" I'm stabbing at the image. Best food. Papaya? Your favorite food is papaya? By the time I teach her, "Doo doo," and she teaches me, "Doo doo," we're laughing so hard, we're hungry for pancakes. She tells me to take the book home. November 3rd. All right, let's answer the last question. This is a silly question just to kind of release the tension a little bit. What does Ha think is funny about the Vietnamese word for papaya? You'll find the answer to this in the stanza. By the time I teach her doo doo and she teaches me doo doo, we're laughing so hard we're hungry for pancakes. If you need a sentence starter, you can use she thinks the Vietnamese word for papaya is funny because blank. All right, everybody, that is it for today's read aloud. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.